It's time for GGSP. I'm Will.
I'm Rad. And I'm Jem. Coming up on the show, we check out Australia's first retro console museum.
There's so many kids now, they're playing the games on their iPads and PlayStation 4s, and they've just never seen how it began.
Plus, our review of the creative playground platformer that is Yoshi's Crafted World. Ooh, those handmade crafty graphics are so cool. In fact, it gives me an idea.
Brad, what have you done?
Can we do the whole show like this? Maybe not. Yoshi's Crafted World is the 8th main installment in the Yoshi franchise, and the second time the green dinosaur has undergone a craft time paint job, having already starred in Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yes, but this time he's less woolly and more felty. Our story begins on the peaceful Yoshi Island, upon which sits the Sundream Stone, an artifact holding the power to make anyone's wildest dreams come true. But when Baby Bowser and Kamek try to steal the stone, its gems are scattered across the world, driving Yoshi to embark on a gem quest.
And quest Yoshi does. Crafted World uses all the usual platform game ideas to help you get those sweet, sweet gems. Such as Yoshi's trademark ability to eat objects and enemies and turn them into eggs. Then throw said eggs to progress through the levels. And Nintendo's trademark charming platforming, where success hinges on carefully timed jumps. I must say, there's some levels in Crafted World that are really tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few parts that require real precision and a steady grip of the thumbsticks. Most of the time, you'll be able to relax and bounce on top of Shy Guys, collect coins, and generally finish with a cheerful Yoshi pose. But then there are levels that rival Crash Bandicoot's slippery climb. They had me failing over and over and over and over and over. Wait, was that Darren?
You better watch out. He's probably on Noob Watch again. But I do totally agree. There's some real challenge this time around, which I am all for. There's still red coins to collect and sunflowers to find, but now you'll be able to aim your eggs in the 3rd dimension at objects in the background, often giving you that hidden collectible you desire. I thought it added a little bit of depth to the gameplay.
Well, it's about time, I say. And speaking of, Crafted World makes use of its new dimension through time challenges. Knocking on clouds with clocks on them flip the world around to reveal challenges. Hitting coins, picking sunflowers, or finding Shy Guys. These mini-games are quite challenging in a way that kind of adds longevity to the game and sets it apart from a simple side-scrolling platformer.
You know what else makes it unique? Dino heads. Scattered throughout the map are wacky levels with even weirder mechanics. There's one where you have the head of a dino and are able to smash through the world. Another puts you in the body of a massive Yoshi and sets you on a Godzilla rampage across the screen. Now, it's such a treat to be given such a silly alternative to the sometimes repetitive simple platforming.
Yeah, I liked it, but I kind of wanted more. It was like giving me a sponge cake, but only cutting half a slice. But hey, you know where I can find more sponge cake? Inside Crafted World's quirky art style. Crafted World is just that, a crafted world. With platforms and planes built from card and foam, and the little bad guys even adorably crafted from felt and yarn. No, I love that everything's so soft and warm, and it's not just a pretty fleece, is it?
No, they've subtly woven it into the level design too. A bit of yarn dangling to pull down a platform, softer materials to be slammed through. It's really clever how the environment uses materials that behave as expected. It all makes for a seamless journey through the crafted chaos.
But even with such fun design, those pesky boss battles just ended up feeling a little average. Usually just relying on dodging some slow-moving attacks and landing a couple of egg shots. They do their job, but I would have just preferred a bit more interesting design in that department.
But how else are we gonna get those lovely gems? we should wrap this up, Will, what did you think overall?
Well, despite not really bringing anything new to the series, I think Yoshi's Crafted World does deliver another lovingly made platformer with just enough charm to win you over. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Ugh, I agree. While I would have liked to see some bigger changes to the Yoshiverse, Yoshi's Crafted World is enjoyably more challenging than Woolly World, and a whole heap of fun. I'm also going to give it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Good spawning, Australia! It's time for the scoop with me, Darren! And Rad is here again too.
Hi everyone. Darren, I've been meaning to ask you, where do you get your audiences from?
Oh, you know, the archives. Now, there's lots of gaming news to discuss, but first, I am excited to reintroduce a very special New World segment. Back by popular demand, it's Darren's Challenge!
Darren's Challenge. You ask a gaming trivia question and then give us the answer at the end of the scoop, right?
Affirmative, Rad. This week's challenge is... what is the name of this character from Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle?
Oh, yes. Oh, I have a hint. There's no I in team, but there is an S in GGSP.
Answer at the end of the scoop. Now for another of my beloved segments, it's Darren's Inside Scoop! Rumour has it that Nintendo could be releasing not 1, but 2 new models of Switch. One is said to be an enhanced version of the existing Switch, while the other is apparently intended to be a more basic, cheaper option and somewhat of a successor to the 3DS. I'll certainly be keeping my antennae on alert for further developments on that hot goss.
Oh, so many Switches. Do you think we'll be able to tell which Switch is which?
Hard to say, Rad, because that's quite the tongue twister. Moving along to another morsel from the world of gaming, this year's round of nominees for the Video Game Hall of Fame have been announced. Sid Meier's Civilization, Super Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Candy Crush, and NBA 2K are amongst the list of finalists.
Oh, which of those would you like to see in the Hall of Fame, Darren?
Well, there are many worthy options, but Sid Meier's Civilization has always been a favourite of mine. Managing all those hapless humans. Oh, so much fun. What's your pick, Boatmeal? NBA 2K, you say? A fan of a bit of the b-ball, are you, Boatmeal? Oh, boom shakalaka! In other news, Apple is launching a game subscription service. Known as Apple Arcade, it will feature new and exclusive games for a range of Apple devices and will launch later this year. Thoughts, Rad?
Well, Darren, this seems a bit more like Xbox Game Pass than Google Stadia's new streaming model. But it looks like quite a few developers are on board for it, so it could be a really interesting development for mobile games.
Ah, indeed. And now for the extra scoop! What are you bringing to the table today, Rad?
Well, Darren, I was rather taken with this union of 2 things I quite like in life: eggplants and Tetris. A gamer known as Rudism managed to rig an eggplant with devices called accelerometers, and combined with some clever coding, created an excellent Tetris controller. Or should I say, eggplant-cellent.
As if Tetris wasn't delicious enough.
You haven't been eating tetrominos again, have you, Darren? You know you really shouldn't eat those, just like humans shouldn't eat raw eggplant.
Negative. Now it's time to reveal the answer to Darren's challenge. The name of this character who appears in Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is... Spawny! He is the rabbit that becomes merged with the Super Merge helmet, causing all sorts of chaos.
Ah, yes, Spawny. Such a good name.
Affirmative. And that's all we have time for today. Until next time we scoop, good night, Australia.
It's daytime, Darren.
Oh, Rad. Please thank Rad, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
The home video game console has a rich and colourful history, spanning nearly 50 years. From the Magnavox Odyssey released back in 1972 to today's supercomputer consoles that sell in the millions. There's a lot to learn, and that's why I'm here. The Nostalgia Box is Australia's first and only video game console museum. Located in the bustling streets of Perth, it showcases over 100 consoles from the 1970s to the 2000s. And the best thing is, you can play them.
I'm here now with Kaylee, who works here at Nostalgia Box. What have you found are people's first reactions when they hear about Nostalgia Box, you know, a console museum?
Firstly, this exists, and also it exists in Perth, because we don't often have a lot of cool stuff. You see their eyes light up and going, wow, this part of my childhood is now in a museum.
How important do you think it is to preserve these old machines?
Pretty important, because there's so many kids now that, you know, they're playing the games on their iPads and PlayStation 4s, and they've just never seen how it began. Like, their mums and dads would tell them, back in my day I was playing Pong or Tetris, but they've never experienced it. We've got over 100 in our collection now, so they can come here and actually see firsthand and have hands-on play and, you know, see where it all began.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future.
Of course, where it all began was with the Magnavox Odyssey, but it was Atari's Pong console that made gaming at home popular.
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
When Atari followed up in 1977 with their cartridge console, the Atari 2600, the market exploded. Soon, there were 15 different consoles all competing for a spot in people's homes. But was that many consoles a good thing?
There's so many consoles released in the 1980s, an insane amount. So the market was kind of oversaturated at the time. Like, you know, parents have hard time to choose what console they want to buy their kids today, and you imagine back in the 80s it'd be way too intense. So with that and the oversaturation, the market kind of crashed in the 80s. They thought that was going to be the end of video games, and luckily it kind of came back with Nintendo.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System?
The Nintendo Entertainment System thankfully relaunched the industry. It's so cool to see the history of consoles from 8-bit to today. And the best part about it all being in a museum is that it totally counts as schoolwork if you have a cool teacher, like Sean.
So I guess first question is, why have you brought your school group here today?
What I think is really important is that they have a sense of the history of it. It's not a long history, it's like a really short history. But for these kids, some of these games they've just seen in these consoles, it's like the Middle Ages, you know, it's like looking into the deep, dark past. But for us, or people my age, not your age, it's yesterday. And so just to give them that link, you know, back to the sort of games we played as kids.
What's the most interesting fact you've learned today?
Probably that there's a wide range of video games that I didn't think probably existed.
What's the weirdest console you've seen?
It's a triangle and it's got 3 different games on it.
With the steering wheel and the gun on it? Yeah.
So it's a bit confusing, but I guess it would have been a lot of fun for people playing at ages ago.
What's been your favourite game or your favourite console here at Nostalgia Box?
The Duck Hunter.
Duck Hunter? Did you know that consoles were so old?
No, I didn't.
Have you seen any of these before?
Never.
No, I'm gone. It's too late for me. What's the reception been like from the kids that have come in here?
Really great. So many smiles and laughs. They rave on about the graphics being, you know, pretty terrible, and then parents will walk through the museum, point out the things that they used to play, and then they go and challenge their kids at the games. Kind of the first time that they've been able to, you know, beat their kids at a game, you know?
Getting to check out all these older games has really made me appreciate just how far gaming has come. From those simple pixels to our now lifelike graphics, it's been quite the journey. Thank goodness someone is here to take care of all these older consoles.
Oh, questions, Rad. So many questions. How are we going to answer them all?
Will, a journey of 1,000 questions begins with a single answer. So let's get stuck in with this video question from Tanner.
That was quite poetic.
Oh, thanks. I came up with it myself.
Hi, GGSP. Is Super Smash Bros. On the DS? Question 2. Is Subnautica coming on the PS3? Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Tanner, and keep an eye out for your GGSP pin. To answer your question about whether Super Smash Bros. Is on the DS, well, there is a version of Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS, which was released back in 2014. But if you mean the latest Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, this is currently only available on the Nintendo Switch.
Now to whether Subnautica is coming to the PS3, I really doubt it. Unknown Worlds, who made the game, developed it for PC and then released console editions for PS4 and Xbox One. But I don't think they would spend time creating a version for PS3 considering it's a much older platform.
Indeed, I do tend to agree. But maybe we should ask Darren too, you know, just in case he knows more, because he knows a lot of things.
Ahoy, Darren speaking.
Hey, Darren. It's Will and Rad here at the Ask SP desk, and we were just wondering if you know whether there's a chance that Subnautica may ever come to the PS3.
I highly doubt it, Rad. It's quite rare for developers to make new games for older consoles. Aside from the odd example, like the Just Dance series, for instance. And in fact, a few years ago, one of the developers of Subnautica said that older generation consoles may not actually be powerful enough to run the game, even on low settings. It was also noted that older consoles tend to have a whole different architecture to modern consoles, making it difficult to port games to those systems too.
But Darren, you're an older system of sorts. How do you handle new games? How does that work?
Well, I never. What are you implying, Rad? I'm as youthful and as hip as ever. In fact, I can deliver mad rhymes with the best of them. Behold! My name is Darren, and I'm here to say I'm gonna laser noobs every night and day. A wiki word to your mum bot.
Yeah, wow, you're right, Darren. You're heaps hip. You sure showed us. Thanks for your help. Bye.
Wild Wild West.
I hated that. He does have quite a haunting voice, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm definitely haunted.
Well, let's do another question. How about this one from Queen of the Gaming Angels from the Angel Palace? Greetings, GGSP. I am the Queen of the Gaming Angels, and I have recently come across a large problem. I have run out of games to play. I enjoy Minecraft, Stardew Valley, Disney, animals, and don't mind a good battle either. Do you have any recommendations that I may enjoy that are available on an iOS platform? P.S. Ms. Gem, please do these.
Oh, should probably get Gem on the phone.
Gem!
What's going on? What's happening?
We have some things for you to do.
Oh, right.
Oh, thanks, Gem. That was great.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Gem. The clarity on that's amazing.
P.S. Ms. Rad, please do these. P.P.P.S. Mr. Will, welcome to the team. I cannot wait to see more. Your show is on the top of my watching list always, when not busy keeping the rest of the gaming angels in check. I love you work. Keep gaming. Her Highness, the Queen of Gaming Angels.
Thanks, Queen of the Gaming Angels. So glad you and your gaming angels like the show.
Now, Your Majesty, if you are after recommendations for iOS games and you like Minecraft, Stardew Valley, Disney, and animals, you might enjoy games like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Terraria, which is heavily inspired by Minecraft, maybe Clash of Clans to get that battle fix, or Disney Crossy Road, which is a great on-the-go option with a heavy helping of Disney. And it's by Australian developer Hipster Whale.
There's also a Harvest Moon mobile game called Harvest Moon Seeds of Memories for some more farming fun. In fact, the original Harvest Moon was said to be an inspiration for Stardew Valley.
You can really tell they're very similar. Hopefully there are some good options there that you'll enjoy, Queen of Gaming Angels. But moving now to another question from Satchel.
Hi, GGSP. Do you have any news on who will be future DLC characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate? Love the show. Thanks, Satchel. Pronounced the same as Satchel.
Thanks, Satchel. If you're wondering about future DLC characters in Smash Bros. Ultimate, well, aside from the officially announced ones like Piranha Plant and Joker, there have been a bunch of rumors floating around about other possible DLC characters. So we better sound the rumor alert. I repeat, sound the rumor alert.
Wow, that sure is loud. Consider me alerted.
No, I will. Okay, so some of the rumored characters we could see include Erdrick from the Dragon Quest games, Rayman, and even Steve from Minecraft. But would you pass the salt, please, Will? Because as with all rumors, we should take them with a grain of salt at the very least.
Yes, delicious rumor salt. Apparently the co-creator of Cuphead said that they want to see Cuphead and Mugman in Smash. And now that Cuphead is coming to the Switch, maybe that will be extra possible. But I'll take that with a sprinkle of salt as well to be on the safe and salty side.
Yeah, good idea, Will. You know who I still long to see as an official Smash Bros. Ultimate fighter?
Boatmill?
No, that would be so good though. I was actually talking about my boy Waluigi.
Of course, I'm sure that would make a lot of Waluigi fans happy, but I don't know how likely it is.
Well, I for one will be keeping my fingers crossed and throwing some salt over my shoulders because that's lucky. Do you want some?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, bit of luck for Will.
Thank you.
And on that note, we are out of time for this week.
Well, time sure flies here at the Ask SP desk. If you have a question you'd like us to answer, send it to us here. And if you make it a video, you'll have your chance to score a GGSP pin.
Whoa! Oh, on the topic of time, Will, I've got another wise and poetic saying that I totally just made up. Are you ready?
Sure.
Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
Wait, didn't linguist and computer scientist Anthony Oettinger come up with that?
Aren't we all, in some ways, linguist and computer scientist Anthony Oettinger?
Well, those were some fine answers to some tricky questions.
Well, they did have a little assistance from moi, of course.
Not really, Darren.
Yeah, I think we did pretty well. Well, that's all we've got for you today, but next week on the show, we go on the hunt with a minstrel mouse in the action RPG Ghost of a Tale.
Plus, I'm going to tell you all about how a computer works. From CPUs to motherboards. Oh, it's going to be such a treat.
Well, it sounds like an essential first step to learning how to build your own gaming PC, which is one of my favorite things.
Now, don't forget to watch our exclusive online content. This week, I reviewed the indie puzzler She Remembered Caterpillars. Check it out.
Until next time, Rat out.
Gem out.
Will out.
Darren out.